Good Sunday evening to you, Cenla. I'm meteorologist Tom Kvick. A lot to talk about here in the weather department, so let's get to it with our tower cam views from Cenla Broadcasting on Texas Street in Alexandria. You see the clouds. We've seen a mixture, some clouds and sun throughout the day. Turned out to be a pretty nice day, really. The Arctic front did slip through the area, but it was kind of a modified version of it. Not the full force, but we will feel the full force before this thing is over with. 41 and 29, your temp and dew point spreads there at AAX, and a 7-mile-per-hour wind. Generally, we've seen a northeasterly breeze. Gina in the lower 40s, but dropping. We also see clouds over in that particular area. The clouds will increase as the upper level system comes through the area on Monday. Right now, the cloud situation is going more to the north of us than down this way, and they're already seeing some precip breakout in some of those locations to the north of us, and some of it is the mixed bag. We're seeing a little sleet, freezing rain up in that particular area, and that is where it was expected to start first. It will start first to the north of us, and as the cold air establishes itself and the upper level feature heads this way, those two will get together down here. So the whole pattern, you can see the individual cells up there, the elements of precipitation are moving toward the east-northeast, but the whole system will be spreading southeastward during the next day or two. And the Arctic air is here, folks. Again, we saw the modified Arctic front come through this morning. Turned out we were over 60 for a high in Opelousas for today. So it's one of those kind of patterns where it kind of weakened as it moved through, kind of ran out of gas, so to speak, but it will definitely get reinforced, and you're going to know it's winter before this one is over with. Looking at your futurecast or in-house models showing the off and on precip frozen variety into central Louisiana, certainly as we go into the day Monday. Notice it's a hit and miss. It's not a large organized area of it or anything like that, not like 2021 in February of that year, if you remember that. This is more of a hit and miss kind of thing, but eventually I do think most folks will see something out of this deal, and throughout the day, throughout the evening Monday. But look at that sharp clearing coming through. That is a reinforcing shot of cold air, and that's when it really gets cold, with that reinforcing shot, with that cold air remaining under snow cover to the north of us. Once that upper level system passes us, it kind of opens the door and the cold air will rush in behind it, and that is what we will feel generally on a Monday night and Tuesday and on into Wednesday morning, especially when temperatures bottom out. I've outlined the winter threats for you. First of all, the overall threat is what I call a nuisance type storm. Inconvenient type storm. It's not going to be a major deal or anything like that, but we're in the south. We're not up north. So any type of winter storm, the impact is magnified here because of the culture, because of the location, and because of our experience factors with these type things. Snow, not a factor. Very little, if any, snow anticipated from this particular event. We will see some icing that would come in the form of sleet and freezing rain. Again, it could cause some issues. Now, I've also got wind and temperatures. That's all part of a winter type threat and winter type storm, if you will. These things are looking pretty good as far as the wind and temperatures. As far as now, you see the threat level there is higher than I have for the overall, and the ice is kind of a separate thing. I probably need to make two graphics out of this, but the wind will be an issue. The wind will have a significant effect on your comfort during the next several days, as we'll see gusts about 25 to 35 miles per hour at times, off and on through about Tuesday night or somewhere during that time frame. Temperatures as well. We're going to see several cold nights. We're going to see some prolonged freezing temperatures, probably in excess of 24 hours or so at many locations. And so that is going to be one of those things that's going to be impactful to people the longer it's like this summer. As it stayed hot so long, it begins to wear you down. Well, we won't stay, that temperature departure won't stay as long nearly as it did this summer. But in the winter, we have a shorter tolerance for cold weather. And so the temperatures are going to be pretty impactful as well, as we will see a very significant freeze coming in. What to expect here in central Louisiana. Now, the timing, and what I have to do here, and this makes it more complicated and sometimes kind of makes things fuzzy as far as, well, what are we expecting here in our parish or in our town? Well, we've had to compile 3 National Weather Service offices forecasts to come up with what I'm giving you here. And so what I'm going to say is the winter weather advisory from after midnight tonight will begin, and it will continue until 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And so that is about a 36-hour time frame. And as we go into the types of precipitation expected, it's pretty much, as I said earlier, going to be freezing rain and sleet mixture. Now, most accumulations will be somewhere from about a trace to a tenth of an inch. We can generally pretty well handle that, but there will be some that will get more than that. I think the peak accumulations could reach somewhere up there around 2/10 of an inch of ice accumulation, and that could cause some issues. Roads and sidewalks will have slick spots, so be aware of that. Monday is a holiday, so again, not as many folks will be out and exposed to this. But all in all, if you're traveling on the road tomorrow somewhere to visit some folks or something like that, going to some event or out walking on the sidewalk around your home, be careful because there could be some slick spots developed during the day on Monday. Now, some elevated surfaces may actually be closed, like some of the bridges, have some of those first bridges to close. Those might close by Tuesday morning. And of course, this type of situation, even though I call it a nuisance and an inconvenience, again, we're down here in the deep south, not up north, and so it will affect travel Monday and Tuesday morning commute. So if you're a decision maker about schools or things like that, you need to take this weather situation into account on Tuesday morning, because it's not going to melt or anything like that over the night Monday. So anything that falls Monday will pretty much be around Tuesday morning. There could be a few power outages with this thing. With the wind, that's one of the ways the wind is impactful during a little winter event. You can have a light accumulation and a lot of wind, and it magnifies the impact or the effects of the winter situation. So a few power outages are possible here in central Louisiana. Normally, we would see that restored fairly quickly. The utility company is very well organized in their approach and process to getting your power back. All right, let's go into some details, city by city and parish by parish. Monday low temperatures will occur, I think could occur just about any time on Monday. I've got middle 20s up to the north. I got a 25 for Manny, Natchitoches, 25 Winfield, 24 degrees. Generally, you head south and east. It warms up just a little. Got 31 for Opelousas, Washington, and Ville Platte. So I'm calling for a Cenla average of about 27. Now, the freeze duration will be highly variable. It could be as few as 6 hours down south, as well as some folks up to the north. As you can see me put the high temperatures on, they're not going to get above freezing any time of the day tomorrow. In my forecast, I've got 30, the highest it gets for Natchitoches and Winfield, 31 for Manny and Colfax and Gina, right at 32 here for the metro area. And then you slide further to the south, we're more in the middle 30s. Opelousas may get away with a 37 degree reading. So that would halt the freezing hours and those type things. All right, let's go into the precipitation pattern as far as the percentages are concerned. And I had to do some conditional probability calculations to assimilate what the three offices are saying about their respective zones. So basically, I think everybody is going to see something out of this. Some probabilities are a little higher to the north. I've gotten some 90% across our northern areas, a lot of 80%, so 60 in DeRidder, 70 in Oakdale and Opelousas, which still means it's likely, but maybe not as much or something like that. Whatever reasoning we have that goes into that, the pattern as far as the upper level system, the cold air and the moisture and those type things, AM and PM. And of course, any accumulations will be about 1 or less in most places. So your 7-day numbers, again, I'm averaging about 80% with that mix for your Monday. Going into Tuesday morning, 20 degrees for your low. We'll see a clearing sky on Tuesday. I got a partly cloudy. That'll be average. There'll be more clouds in the morning than there will be in the afternoon. Only 34 for a high Tuesday, despite some sun coming in, a mostly sunny day Wednesday. That's when we bottom out at 14 degrees. That is near record territory. I think the old record is 13 degrees back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. 45 for a high on Wednesday, so a pretty good recovery there. And we'll recover further on Thursday. Another cold morning, but not nearly as cold as Wednesday morning, 30. And that brief warm-up on Thursday with a high of 58 degrees is in advance of yet another system that is carrying some modified Arctic air. So this is a fairly strong front as well as coming in. I've got it marked kind of straddling Thursday and Friday we'll say Thursday night it comes through. And then Friday, we start feeling that with a low of 34, only 47 for a high Friday. It will be noticeably cooler Friday than it will be Thursday. And then going into Saturday and Sunday, a couple of hard freezes both mornings there. We could see some, I got 22, 23 those mornings. We could definitely see on the colder side some upper teens those mornings as well. Saturday high, struggling for 42. That means some folks may not get out of the high 30s on Saturday, despite full sunshine that day. And then a little increase in clouds on Sunday, and still keeping a chill with a high of 48. All right, that's all I've got to say. I've been around long enough with this, and I hope I've informed you of some of the things that you want to hear about and take into account for your plans for Monday. Again, it's not going to be a major event, but even nuisance events and inconveniences can cause some issues down here. So we'll get through it together. Nick Miculus will be around, certainly. He's the winter nut of the two of us, and certainly an expert on the winter situations. And he's going to definitely update you tomorrow morning. And I'll be around somewhere tomorrow as well. All right, thanks for listening.